Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sherry. I'm a homeschooling mom of 2 girls, and today we're going to talk about kindergarten phonics curriculums. So I do have a little post-it note just so I can remember the different ones I wanted to go over. There are, of course, way more than this. I am going to link below to my blog post about this where it'll probably go a little more in depth. And there might be links to future videos I do going more in depth into the ones I am more familiar with. So let's start with the full curriculums. So there are different levels of curriculum. So there's full curriculums that are going to include everything you need. They're usually going to be very scripted. They're going to come with a teacher manual, some readers, maybe some flashcards, multiple workbooks. So they are the most complete. They're also, of course, going to be the most expensive. So if you discover that it's not a good fit for your child or yourself, you might be out quite a bit of money. So I would recommend borrowing one or trying to get just a little piece of it and try it out before you commit to the whole thing. Then you're going to have what I'm going to sort of call curriculum light. So unless your kid's a really strong reader, you're probably going to need to do some supplementing. You certainly will need to use readers because these are usually either workbooks or online programs, and they're not meant to be a complete program unto themselves. Then there's also apps you can use. Again, those are usually not full curriculums. They're meant to be used in tandem with something else. Some of them are really just for supplementing for kids to do a little extra work on their own or as a way to get them used to doing a little bit of independent work. But there are others that actually are going to do teaching and are meant to be done together. And then the last option is to just completely build your own. So you probably are going to be using some of the curriculum lights, but you might pull a little bit from the full curriculums. You'll use an app. It's sort of like doing a unit study style. So you might be reading with your kid, and as you notice you're coming across a lot of words with digraphs, you might go to Etsy or TPT or into one of these curriculums and pull out the section on digraphs and go over it. And then continue on and see what you come across next that you need to really go more in depth with. There is no wrong or right way to do this. It can be really hard in kindergarten because you can get so excited about a curriculum and then it just might be a flop for your family, even if other people absolutely rave about it. We have definitely tried some things that everyone swore they loved and just were a total flop for us. So let's dive in. The full curriculums we're going to talk about are all about reading and logic of English. Now, I have not used either of these programs. I have flipped through some of the all about reading because my charter program does own it. These are the full in-depth curriculums. They are very scripted, so they are going to tell you exactly what to say, exactly how to teach it. So if you are nervous about teaching a kid how to read, it was certainly the thing I was most nervous about when I started homeschooling. They might be a great choice for you just because they take all the guesswork out of it. They are highly recommended. A lot of families really love it, especially if you are doing completely at home homeschool. It might be a good choice. We are hybrid homeschoolers at my house, so my kids go to a charter program. Some people might refer to it as sort of a co-op style thing. Not quite the same, but they go and they do student-led project-based learning. So we are trying to fit everything else into the other 3 days and then take our weekends off. So one of these curriculums that's going to go super in depth and take more time is not really for us. But the lessons are, from what I hear, pretty short, especially in the early years. The program does have flashcards to go over all the sounds. There are workbooks. There are readers. It's all sort of built into one program. You're not going to have to go out and find other pieces to use. Logic of English is similar. One of the things about Logic of English that is different is that I'm not sure how they do it, but they actually teach you to sound out what most other programs refer to as sight words. If you have used either of these programs, definitely feel free to drop what you like or don't like about it in the comments. Like I said, I haven't used either of them, so I can just give you the brief overview of how they work and why you might want to consider those. Let's move on to the sort of curriculum lights. Let's talk about treasure hunt reading, explode the code, and teach your kids to read in 100 easy lessons. Like I said, there are lots of options that fall into this sort of curriculum light category. These are just some of the ones that you hear about a lot. So teach your kids to read in 100 easy lessons was actually one of the first things I tried with my oldest daughter, and it was a complete flop for us. People do rave about it. They say it worked really well. Their kids learned to read. It was simple. It was easy. It is like one big book that you just go through. You don't need any other pieces. I think me and my daughter made it through about 2 lessons, and we both just absolutely hated it, and we dropped it like a hot rock. We were not interested. But that doesn't mean it won't work for you. It is a book you can often find secondhand, and because there's not a bunch of worksheets, you could still use it. So it is easy to come across if you want to give it a try, and even if you buy it brand new, it's really not overly expensive. Let's move on to treasure hunt reading. I have not used this one myself, although I might give some of the lessons a try with my younger daughter, who is going to be starting her kindergarten year. This is a fully online program, although there is a workbook that you can either buy to go with it, or you can print the pages that you need as you go. The online portion is completely free. I believe you can also print the pages for free. The only cost is if you want to buy a bound workbook. I have heard that if your kid is a more advanced reader, you might need to supplement this some, but that it is sort of meant to be a full program. It does look like a fun way to do it if you don't mind the online aspect of it. But I know some homeschool families like to stay away from that. I don't mind myself using a little bit of videos, but at this young age, we don't really like to go fully online. But it might be a choice if that's really your kid's preferred way of learning, or if you're trying to homeschool while working from home, it might be something that they can jump on and watch on their own. The last one we're going to talk about here is Explode the Code. These are little workbooks. They're quite inexpensive. So they start with this get ready for the code level, which is going to go over your letters and your letter sounds. It has some stuff about following directions. It has a little bit of writing practice. I use them with my oldest daughter. I think we got through most A, B, and part of C, and then they are quite repetitive, and she started to get a little bit bored. So we switched away from them for a while, but we have come back to some of the later books. There are then 8 actual workbooks to teach different phonics skills, and then there are half workbooks, so there's like book 1.5, and those are strictly for extra review. And then there are a set of 3 books called, I believe it's Beyond the Code, and those cover some extra reading comprehension as they go on. The last thing I wanted to talk about was some reading apps. Now again, there are tons of reading apps. I'm going to do a blog post and possibly a video going more in depth about different learning phonics based apps. But today I just want to talk about my favorite 2, just to keep this video from getting super long. Those are reading.com and Duolingo ABC. Now, the reading.com app is a paid subscription. This is a program that is designed to actually teach your kids to read. I really like this one. I will link below to a video that kind of walks through how it works. It has little sliders that the kids like to use to kind of trace under the words that they're learning. They're going to be reading books, learning letter sounds, but this is one that you have to sit and do with them. It is not designed for them to do independently, other than the little game section that they can use as some review. Then we have Duolingo ABC. This is, as it may sound like, from the creators of the Duolingo language learning apps. This app is completely free. I definitely would use it as a supplement, but my kids love this app. Both my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old like to use it. You can jump around to different levels. You practice your sound skills. It reads you some stories. They really like the stories. And then to like pass through a level, you have to earn a certain number of pancakes. There's a part where you complete some activities and then you get to make slime, and they will call the other one over to come see the slime being made. They think it's a lot of fun. So if you need something fun for them to work on by themselves as a supplement, just to help reinforce those skills, then Duolingo ABC can be a great choice. I will also link to a walkthrough video of that below. So that's it. That is all the kindergarten phonics curriculum that I'm going to cover. There, of course, are way more options than this out there, but that is a great place to start. Do your research, watch some more videos on the ones you're interested in, and good luck and happy homeschooling.